Michelle, and we are going to do a band Pilates class, but it's going to be a little bit more reformer-based Pilates. So what I have done, I have a fairly long band, and kind of see this wood piece here. It is my rower, so I have a water rower in here. But you can use like a doorknob, any piece of furniture, like the bottom of your bed, like the bed frame, or have a desk in here, you could use that as well. But something that you know is not going to fall on you. And at first, what I'm going to do is unattach this. And we'll first just start with a little warm up. So arms are a little wider than shoulder distance, just sitting nice and tall. Make sure you're kind of back over your sit bones, not too forward into your hip flexors. And we'll just start with some arm circles. My shoulders are feeling somewhat tight, so I'm not going to take it all the way back just yet. Just kind of warming them up. This band series will be a little bit more arm focused. Probably I would say arm and abs focused. But it should feel pretty good. It's about 20-30 minutes is what I'm thinking it will be. I don't have my watch on and I just wing it. I'm not really one to structure a class. I just kind of move with what comes into my head and what feels good. So now let's take it over to the side and just breathe into that left side body. So I'm really trying to sit my hip a little bit heavy as I'm stretching through this arm. And I'm going to kind of turn my shoulder and my ribs down and then rotate upward towards the ceiling. And we'll do that 2 more times, turning the rib and shoulders down and rotating up. 1 more, flexing and rotating open towards the ceiling. Draw your spine back to neutral, squaring your spine, lift your spine all the way up. And let's take it over to the other side. First, just breathing into that right side body, feeling the right hip getting heavy as you're reaching the right arm away from you. Turning the ribs and the shoulders down. And then spiraling through the chest and shoulders open. Flexing through the ribs forward and spiraling back. This side I can feel is a little bit tighter, especially in my right shoulder there. Then finding the center and then lifting all the way back up. So I'm going to take the band and draw it around the back of my ribs. I really want to feel the width of the band at my bra line area, because the goal is to feel that flexion, extension of the spine. I'm going to grab in a little bit more narrow to my spine. And as I extend those arms forward, I'm flexing my ribs into the band and feeling the width of the band across my ribs. And then as I come in, I'm just going to go into a little bit of extension of the spine. Exhale, flexing those ribs forward. Inhale, opening the heart, lifting the heart. Exhale, rounding into that upper mid back. And then lifting the heart. We're going to do 2 more. Last one. And lifting that heart back up. So we're going to turn back to facing you with my palms facing up. I personally call this the Garden of Good and Evil. I don't know why. It just reminds me of that little statue in the cemetery for some reason. You're going to reach those arms out to the sides and then dropping those elbows back down. Watching that those ribs don't flare, because we don't want to sit forward into our pubic bone and really tighten up that mid back. So feel you're sitting back on your sit bones and you feel these front ribs heavy and wide across the upper mid back. We're going to do 4 more. Exhale, reach for 3. I'm kind of reaching out and slightly up for 2, keeping those shoulders down as I reach. On this last one, we're going to hold those arms out. My palms are still facing up to the sky, and we're just going to pulse it for 10, 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop those elbows back in. This time we're going to go down the ladder, even numbers. Exhale for 8, 7, reaching out for 6, sitting nice and tall for 5, and 4, last 3, 2, last one. Hold those arms out, little pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drawing those elbows back in. Next is 6. Exhaling to reach. Inhale to bend. 3, 2, hold it out on 1. Pulse it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dropping those elbows back in. 4, exhale long and bend fully. For 3, bending in. Last 2, bend, hold it long on 1. Little pulses for 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw those elbows in. Exhale, reach for 2. Bend and extend, hold. Little pulse, 1, 2, and rest. Good. Kind of interlace those hands together. Palms press forward, rounding the head down, rounding through those shoulders, upper mid back. Keep your palms facing forward as you lift those arms up to the sky, leaning the heart up and back behind you. Let go of the fingers, grab the left wrist, side flex, pull and stretch, maybe looking upward towards the ceiling. Draw tall through center, grabbing that right wrist, pull and stretch. Again, turning your head upwards. And release. So this is when we are going to hook our band up to that piece of furniture that is near us. So let's wrap mine just once around my rower. Make sure that my ends are even. Perfect. And then we're going to lay our head down at the furniture end. Okay. And for this first part, I'm just going to start with my legs long, kind of similar to what we would do if we were on the tower. Okay. So grabbing at the band, of course, closer towards the end that's attached to the furniture is going to be a little bit heavier. Closer to the ends of the band, a little bit lighter. Take a deep breath in. Exhale with those upper arm bones lowering down by your side. Inhale as you lift those arm bones back up to the sky. Exhaling to press. Inhaling to lift. Exhale to press. Inhale to lift. As you're exhaling, feel that breath draw all the way out past your navel. So you feel this core connection as well. Last 2. Last one. Good. My legs are long, and as I press my arms down, I'm going to kick that right leg straight up. So flex the leg to the ceiling as you press into those arms. Release, switch legs, exhale, press. Feeling the back of the ribs and shoulders heavy. So as you're pressing down and alternating sides, I want you to feel the width of your collarbone, that opening of the chest and the shoulders. So you're feeling the upper mid back really heavy into the mat. Last set, each side. And arms up. Let's bend our knees, planting the feet. So again, just the arms, but we're going to flex our right leg to tabletop. So I'm feeling those ribs heavy. As I root down through the arms, I'm folding my right thigh towards me, releasing both. And then other side, press as you lift, releasing both. Exhale, flex together, release together, flex together, release together. Starting to feel the back of those arms working. Feeling the back of those ribs heavy into the mat. Kind of feel like you're growing out through the crown of your head. So you're feeling heavy through your tail and creating length in your spine. We're going to add the head with the same move. Curl forward. Control as you lower. Flex and curl forward. Control as you lower. Exhale lifts you. We're going to do 2 more rounds. Last set each side. Last one. Lower. Bring both of those legs to tabletop. Arms are still straight up to the sky. The first round, feel your tail's heavy. Feel the glutes relax. And then feel the upper ribs, upper abdominals heavy. So you may have like a natural space between the mat and your lower back. It's just the arms and the legs. Arms are going to straighten. One leg straightens out. Control back in. Left leg, both arms. Reach. Control back in. So the goal is to keep the trunk from your pelvis to your head completely stable as your limbs move. Thinking of that movement coming from the trunk, so you're extending from the hip, pushing down through the upper arm bones. Last set like this, and then we're going to add on. Adding our head. Same move. Extend and curl forward. Lower with control. Press and lift. Lower with control. Exhaling to reach. Last set each side. Lowering back down. This time we're going to bend our elbows into the sides. Keep those legs at tabletop. So it's just the arms. Press straight down. Bending those elbows back in. Exhaling to press. Inhale to bend. 3, 4. One last time, just those arms. Let's curl the head up. Reach and straighten. Bend and lower. Lift. Bend and lower. Let's add both legs, both arms, both legs, and the head. Control as you lower. Lift and control as you lower. Extend through the hips, flex back in. 2 more. Reach and bend. Last one, stay lifted and hold just those legs. Bend them in. Extend and reach. Bend and extend. Again, moving through the hips, reaching long. Last 2. Last one, let's hold those legs long. I like to wrap into my Pilates V. Arms bend and press. Bend and press. For 3, 2. Last one, reach, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And rest it down. Release your straps. Draw your feet flat on the mat, a little bit wider than your mat. Let your knees fall to the left. Maybe your left foot goes on top of your right knee. And just breathe into that right side body. Drawing that left foot back down as the knees fall to the right. Your right foot goes on top of your left knee. And breathe. Hugging both of those knees into your chest, breathing into your lower back. And then exhale, rock up to seated. So we're going to spin around and face our furniture where the bands are attached. So again, just making sure that your bands look even. I'm a little picky about that stuff because I can't stand things crooked. It drives me nuts. I'm that person that goes and fixes paintings in a restaurant if they're uneven on the wall. So this first part, we're gonna start with our knees grounded, like our hips on our heels. So I tell people in class, if you have a hard time getting back this far, you can always tuck your toes under, and that way the bend at your knee is not as deep. But also play with letting your knees be a little bit wider and your feet together. So it really plays with how your kneecap falls into alignment with your leg bones. So for me, being able to sit all the way back is perfectly fine, but you have all those different options to work with. You can also put a block underneath you to kind of lift you up so you don't have to go back as far. So sitting nice and tall, we're trying not to lean forward. So I'm kind of thinking of lifting from my seat and think of lifting from my core, lifting off those heels. So at the same time, I lift my hips, I'm pulling those arm bones straight back to my hips. And then I'm releasing everything back down, pulling up in one straight line and lowering with control. Exhale. This one's a little sneaky because it does work your quads a little bit as well as the back of those arms and shoulders. We're going to do one more, staying lifted up at the top. Just those arms, release and pull. So one thing, you can always draw your arms up closer in towards wherever your band is attached. That's going to give you a little bit more resistance. Keep your glutes relaxed. Last two. On this last one, hold your arms back by your sides. We're going to look over the right shoulder, look over the left shoulder. When you look forward, release those arms. Pull back and hold. Look left first. Look right, forward, release. Pull back right first. Feeling those shoulders stay in their pockets as you look both directions. And we're going left. One more round, right side. Last time, left side. And release. So now, we're going to pull those arms back by our side. And in one straight line, we're hinging straight back as far as we can go. Lift back up, release those arms. Arms stay back by the sides, shoulders in pockets. Lean from the thighs. Lift back up and release. You can see as I lean back, the more further I go, the more shakes and quivers I get in my body. So that's that core connection taking over. Feeling that stretch in the thighs. Feeling the upper mid-back working. And you're also, last one, keeping your eyes lifting as you're leaning back. And release. Good. So now, we're going to sit our hips back about halfway. I'm in a straight line, so I don't want my tail curled under. I want to think of my butt bones angling down towards those heels. So we're still working those triceps. We're going to bend our arms into the sides. Also feel your front ribs get heavy towards your hip. You don't want to flare your ribs and feel like you're bowing into your back, okay? So those ribs are connected. Arms are in the sides. Exhale, straighten those arms back. Bend those arms in. Extend and bend. Feeling those shoulders gliding into your back pockets. 3, 2. On this last one, hold those arms long and little pulse with straight arms going up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Good. So we're gonna come through to seated. Whenever I'm doing a seated position, I personally like my legs slightly bent. You can have your legs out long, whatever works for you. Me having my knees slightly bent gives me the ability to articulate a lot better into my hips and my lower back. So, arms are on the band, down, out long in front of you. Take a deep breath in. Start from your bottom, curling that tail under, rolling back to about the top of your pant line. And then those ribs, exhale you back to seated. So the goal, if your legs are bent, is that we're trying not to allow those legs to straighten out. When the legs straighten as we're rolling back, you end up using your hip flexors and your back a lot more than you do your core, which of course is our goal, to get a stronger core. Last 2. Exhale those ribs, flex you forward. Last one, rounding back. And then those ribs flex you forward. So we're gonna add on a little arm series. We're gonna C-curve back to a place where we can just hold ourselves. We're staying relaxed here. Focus on the upper arm bones. Pull those arms to the side and release. Exhale, pull. And release. I'm going to scoot a little bit over. I'm a little too close to my wall. Exhale, those arms open and close. Feeling the upper arm bone moving, keeping those arms really long. For 3, exhale, pull. For 2, and 1. Close those arms, curl back up to seated. I'm going to change my grip so that the band is going between my index finger and thumb so that I can keep my palms facing down. Curling the tail under, rounding back. Keep this C-curve. Keep your focus forward. The arms lift up and lower. Exhale up and down. Think of lifting from the underarms, not your shoulders, not your hands, right? I'm trying to open those underarms up. For 3, exhale, lift. For 2, 1 more. Lower those arms, curl back up to seated. So we're gonna add those 2 moves together and make a circle. So take a deep breath in. Exhale, curl the tail under, relax those shoulders. We're gonna go out. We're gonna go up and lower down. Out, up, and down. For 3, 2, 1, and then curl back up to seated. Then of course, we're gonna reverse it. So rolling under the tail, rounding back, arms lift and circle around. Exhale, up, out, and around. For 3, exhale. For 2, 1 more. And then curl your way to seated. I'm going to grab both ends of the band in my right hand, okay? So the band's kind of angling off towards that side of the room. We're going to roll underneath the spine, curling under, rounding back. I'm going to row and rotate. My elbows angling down towards the floor. My hips and knees are pointing forward. And then I'm wrapping my way back up to seated. Exhale, roll back, rotate, and row. For 2, round back, rotate, and row. For 3, last 2. Feeling that left rib, cross towards the right hip. Hold it here. Extend the arm, bend for 5. Stay in that rotation for 4. Heavy through those heels for 3. Pull for 2. One last time. Rotate, curl, all the way back up to seated. Let's switch those hands. Keep your feet grounded. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, curling the tail under. Row and rotate. And all the way back up for 5. Exhale, row. And curl to seated for 4. For 3. Rounding under, rotate for 2. Last one, we're gonna stay back there and row. Exhale, pull for 5. Stay in that rotation for 4. Let go of those glutes. Pull for 3. Find those obliques for 2. One last time. Row and then curl all the way to seated. Good job. So we're going to grab both of those bands in either hand again. And last round of rows. Curling under the tail, rounding back. This time the elbows both pull at the same time. Back and release. Exhale, back. I like a 45 downward degree elbow so that those shoulders stay in pockets, but I can also feel the back of those ribs getting heavier. So I'm really working into my abs and those shoulders. Last 2. Last one. Curl all the way back up to seated. Good. I'm going to release the band from my furniture. I'm going to let the band kind of flatten onto the mat so that all of the end of the band is off to my right side. Okay. Now I'm going to sit mermaid style. So my left leg is forward, my right leg is back, and the band is underneath my hips. So I'm sitting on it and I have all of the band off to that right side. So first, regular mermaid, arms out to the sides. We're gonna tip to the right, side flex, up and over. Tall through center. Drop the left elbow as you reach up and over to the opposite side. Exhale all the way up. Take it over to the right. Lift and drop to the left. 3 more. Two. Last set, each side. And all the way back up. I'm going to take my band in my left hand. So I'm starting down by my right hip. And this is a arm series called Drawing the Sword on the Reformer. So I'm square through my shoulders, ribs, and hips. I'm going to lead with the elbow, extend higher than the shoulder, and then control it back down for 5. Exhale, pull and reach for 4. Exhale to reach for 3. 2. And hold it here on 1. So I'm going to lean up and over to the right side of the room and then continue to stretch my left arm up and over so I feel that deep side body stretch. Close the arm in front of me as I sit tall. Draw the sword out to the side. Side flex up and over and close for 4. Drawing the sword. Side flex, reach and lower for 3. Back of the shoulder and arm hold strong for 2. One last time, out to the side. Side flex, up and over, and release. We're gonna hold the band in the right hand. I'm gonna slightly rotate to the right. My right arm is bent. And now I'm going to twist forward and reach with that right arm, finding this wringing out sensation in my spine. And then resist it all the way back. Exhale, reach. And back. For 3. And rotate. For 2. And rotate. Last 1.
Sorry.
And all the way back. Good. Hold the band in the right hand. Left arm's by your side. We're going to side flex up and over to the left, stretching that right arm up and over, and rise up to seated. Side flex and reach up and over, and all the way up for 4. Exhale. For 3. Hip on the right side stays heavy as you reach for 2. And 1. Let's slide this band out from underneath us. And we're going to draw our knees together, and they're at an angle down. And we're going to come down onto our left forearm. So when you're looking, your knees are maybe 5 to 10 degrees forward from your hips. It's not all the way forward up here, okay? Because we're going into a modified side plank, and we want to feel like when we lift our hips, we're going to be in a long line. So I'm looking down, my elbow and shoulder are stacked, my ribs aren't sagging, right? You want to get out of this shoulder. So we're lifting from this left waistline. My right arm's by my side, take a deep breath in. The hips are gonna lift, that right arm's gonna stretch up and over into a mermaid side plank. And then drop those hips and lower the arm. Lift the hips, reaching up and over, lower the hips. 3 more, lift and lower. 2 more, lift. Last one, we're gonna stay lifted and hold. Stretch that right arm up to the sky, and we're gonna rotate the shoulders towards the floor and then back to the center. Twist the ribs and shoulders and rotate back to center. Exhale for 3, 2, feeling that left oblique. Last one. Draw back to the center, lower the hips, press yourself up to seated. Grab your shins with both of your hands and flex into your body. And then we will swing those legs around, but first we need our band. So again, we're gonna let the band kind of be off to our left side this time, sitting on that end of the band. And we're in mermaid style this time. The right leg's forward and the left leg's back. So starting with just our mermaid, straighten those arms out to the sides, tip to the left, exhale, side flex, up and over. Rise all the way up, dropping that right arm, stretch up and over. Exhale, reach up and over to the left, moving through those ribs and to the right. Find those obliques to lift you for 3. Last 2. Last one each side. Good. Now we're going to grab the band with our right hand. Shoulders, ribs, and hips are square. I'm leading with that right elbow, drawing my sword, reaching out to the side, controlling it back in. Exhaling to pull. So one thing that I notice in my classes when I teach, people rotate their arm. So it's palm facing in when you're closing the arm, palm facing forward as you extend it. We've got 2 more. Last one, hold this arm out long and strong. We're moving from the ribs up and over to the left, taking that right arm, stretching it up and over. Close it in front of you. Draw your sword out to the side, leaning up and over, stretching. 2, exhale, reach. Side flex for 3. 2 more, out. Side flex up and over. One last time, drawing your sword, stretch and reach up and over, and close. Hold that band in the left hand. We're slightly rotating towards the back, towards the left. Take a deep breath in. Exhale as we rotate forward, straighten through the arm. Bend and rotate to the left. Exhale, rotate to the right. And bend it back. 3 more. Feel the spine wringing out. Exhale, 2. Arms below the shoulder, last one. Bring it back, drop that elbow. Right hand's by your side. Side flex up and over to the right and rise all the way up for 5. Exhale, reaching up and over for 4. 3. 2.
Okay.
And 1. Good.
Check it out.
Let's take the band out from underneath us. We're going to bring those knees together. Remember, about a 5 to 10 degree angle forward from your hips. Down on that right forearm, left arm's by our side. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lift those hips, stretch up and over, and lower back down for 5. Lift and lower for 4. Exhale for 3, lifting out of those ribs and shoulders, hips up for 2. On this last one, we're going to stay lifted and hold it here. Take that arm up to the sky, and now we thread the needle, rotating from the ribs and drawing center. Exhale, twist and center. 3 more. 2. 1 last time. And center. Lower your hips down. Press yourself up to seated, grabbing both hands onto your shins and pull down towards your body, relaxing those shoulders. And then we'll swing those legs forward to seated, kind of doing a few shoulder circles, kind of cooling down. Let's reverse those. Lots of cracks in there. 1 more. Good. Drawing those hands behind the head, sit nice and tall. We're going to side flex those ribs up and over. Exhale, tall through center. Take it to the other side. Exhale, tall through center. Take it to the right. This time, turn both of those elbows in towards your head and then turn down towards that right thigh. Maybe your elbows touch your right thigh. Rotate open, lifting up. Lean to the left. Turn both elbows in and fold down towards your left thigh. Rotate open and lift up tall, stretching those arms up to the sky, lifting your heart up and back. And release. And we are all through.